Hi everyone, this is Suzanne Wagner, and we are doing the numerology and the astrology for March 15th, 2021. If you add all those numbers together, you get the number 14, and if you add the 1 and the 4 together, you get the number 5. The number 5 is the number of the physical body. It is about taking care of your health. It is about the earth. It is about rainstorms and snowstorms and all the divine things that the feminine likes to throw at us when we least expect it. The number 5 is associated with the feminine. It's the symbol of a pentagram, and so it's how the feminine is aligned with the divine earth energy, because the feminine gives birth to things, birth to ideas, birth to children, birth to all sorts of things. So today, what are you trying to give birth to? What is it that you are trying to ground into the reality? What are you trying to bring in? And the number 5 reminds us that while astrology is supporting us in listening on a deeper intuitive level, we must stay grounded as possible to have the most impact. Life requires us to use our logic and intuition to solve problems. When those two work together, our outcomes are more aligned with the natural order of life. When we can move from just one side or position, then logic can override creative insight, or creativity can get delusional without some rational boundaries. Today, take care of your body and pay attention to what needs to happen to keep you healthy and wise, and maybe what you want to give birth to in the future. Movement is important. Do those chores that are calling your name. It will make moods lighter. The astrology today. On Monday, the highly communicative sign of Mercury moves into the mystical sign of Pisces until April 3rd. Mix this with the intuitive energy of the new moon in Pisces, and it's a perfect time to connect and channel our spirit guides, get a psychic reading, or go on a personal vision quest. Decisions come in on an intuitive path, and that opens us to raise our consciousness. The moon continues in pioneering Aries. This is a feeling of a fresh start happening, and I am not talking just about spring break or daylight savings time shifts. Much is in the air, and there are many patterns that are going to be reviewed and modified. Venus and Uranus semi-square, causing whims and impulses to get a bit out of control. A cause for concern is we also desperately want to be free of the COVID quarantine. With so many people pushing the envelope by coming out to play without safety protocols, I fear another wave. I hope we do not live to regret this in a few weeks. Some have to learn through trial and error how to find freedom. The mistake so many make is to think that freedom is external, when each of us must first find that place of internal freedom first. And I was super busy today. We had a big weather change, and systems are coming in, so it's been a little bit of a wild day with the weather. So I'm just going to do a spontaneous blog for today. And what I was noticing today, it was just sort of funny. Sometimes I see these patterns, and the pattern today was that everybody that has been calling in has been Pisces or Virgo, and notice that those two are astrologically opposite each other, and while we are in the time of Pisces, all the energy that is happening that is affecting Pisces is also reverse impacting the Virgos, because it puts them in the opposite position. And this is what I have to say about this period of time this year. I think this year is a year where we're going to have a lot of false starts, a lot of impulse to do something, make a change. We're going to get a bee in our bonnet, and we're going to, okay, I'm going to make this change, I'm going to do this change. And the way the astrology is for the year is that just when you get to the edge, and you're about to leap off that cliff and make a choice or a decision, it's like the angels are going to grab you by your collar, and they're going to yank you back from the cliff. And it's because, I think the universe is asking us to say yes and to start to create a space, to kind of clear space, like a machete going through a jungle, that we have to cut some space through. But that doesn't mean that it's clear sailing once you just do a couple hits with a machete, that you're going to hit another layer. And so while the direction might be true, the timing of that direction might be false. And so the universe is saying a lot of not yet this year. it's like, yes, you can go that direction, but no, it's not going to be as fast as you want, and you can't go yet. But we have a lot of preparation to do. So we want you to keep your intention going in this direction, but to recognize that there's divine timing and we're not in it. And so while a lot of things are moving, and there are a lot of things that are moving below the surface of things, it's not really flowing yet. The metaphor that I'm using right now is with me on my property. I have upper buildings and lower buildings, and I'm on a slope. And we have a spring. And there's a really strong spring at the bottom that we pump to the top of the ridge, and then have a gravity feed water for the property, which is awesome. But we also have a lower spring that comes out only in the winter after it's been raining a certain period of time. So our joke always is the lower spring springing? Is the water coming out right there yet? Because when that happens, we know that the ground is fully saturated, which is what we look for here, because we've been in a drought. And so there have been years where, the lower spring has just barely been going, and we want that lower spring to gush. And so I think everybody wants everything to gush at the moment, but we're sitting there waiting to see if that spring has opened up and there's enough water that has saturated the ground to let it go. So right now, we're not there yet. And even though it's raining right now outside, we still don't have our lower spring, going, our winter spring. We call it the winter spring. And once that happens, we know we've got enough water for the trees and everything for a bit. And so we're waiting. So I think all of us are waiting. We're waiting for this moment where we know we're going to be okay, and we know that we're ready, and we know it's time. And yet we are preparing, and it is raining, and the water is going into the ground, and we're doing all this work to put water into the ground, but it still hasn't saturated fully to make this thing happen that you want to happen. And this is why it requires some patience, and it'll be okay. Because I believe the universe has divine timing, and I believe we're going in the right direction. I believe we're going in the right direction. We have a lot to look forward to. We have so much to be grateful for. I mean, I'm sure so many people are incredibly grateful for the unemployment and the stimulus checks, because honestly, I talk to people every day. They said they would not have made it without this. They would have lost everything. They had no options. There were no jobs. There were no opportunities for them. And I'm grateful that we have a government that was able to see that need and not break the backs of the workers, which sometimes happens. So practice the attitude of gratitude today. Thanks, everybody. Bye.